Good morning, SK. What's up, Mayor? Welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing this morning?
LegalZoom makes it simple to start an LLC in 3 easy steps. Your business.
Yep. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. April Fools, everybody. I don't know. I was thinking, shall I fool everybody and not show up? I see we did give some. I did give away some free memberships. Dennis Bigfoot. I'm looking at my laptop over here in case you're wondering where I'm looking. Oh, come on, these dumb commercials. I need to chat. Oh, there we go. I hate when this thing drops down and shows more. Let's see, we got Dennis Bigfoot. We have Big Up Shady, Jay Sadu, Jeremy T, Mrs. Joanne. What is up? Guess what I'm wearing, Jason? Justin? Look. Ooh. The Crunch Gang. So, how's everybody doing today? It's Monday, the first of the month. Yes, time to pay those bills again, huh? Welcome, welcome. Okay, I got my other phone, so Samantha Mustard, welcome, welcome. What is up? Crunch Gang, you know it. I said, well, you know what? I decided maybe I'll do one of them vertical live streams and see what's all the hub. We got John Paul coming in. Welcome, welcome. How's everybody? It's my day off. I usually off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I figured, hey, why not? Let's start off the month, you know? So let me fix this. All right, there we go. Let's see. I'm using my wife's new phone. Let's see what's all this other. Oh, okay. That's what that does. Alrighty. Welcome, welcome, Dagmar. Welcome. What's up, Corner Clubhouse? How's your basketball thing doing? Hopefully it's doing great. Welcome, welcome, everybody. And we also want to still promoting UK Medic and Thompson RC. Welcome, welcome. Boy, this thing is behind. I'm looking at something that I typed in with my other phone and it barely came in. Or who knows? And like I said, we also want to thank our members list. Let's get our members list so we can shout out our members. Alrighty. Let's see, we have Stories Lost and Found. We got Digging It Back. We got UK Medic. We got Supreme Geckos. We have Corner Clubhouse, Sherry Matcat, Trod, Legs and Stings, Mona. And then from the other people that got their free membership was Hannah, Bolsa Reptiles, It's the Mushmallow Man, Eon J, Rustier, Ash Ketchum, Bud Files, The Bud Files, of course, Robot Andy, Second Chance Stacks, Lisa J Stacks, Nitro Freak, and then the new ones. I only gave out 5. I'll probably give out some 5 more, maybe next week or the following week. We got the whole month. We got Jay Sonoda, Jeremy TRCs, Mrs. Joanne, Dennis Bigfoot, and Shady. Big Shady. Big ups. So those are our members. And welcome, Doe Eyes. What is up? Welcome. Then we also have our family and friends list. We have, of course, Justin from My Animal House. That's where I won this t-shirt. And we have also Spider Mom, Mark the Spider Guy, Sherry Matcat, James Gype, Samantha Gype. We have Tony Diecast. What's up, Nitro? Welcome. We got Tony Diecast. We have Zelda Diecast Racing. We also have Mayor, all capital letters, Maer. And we also have Guru from Yoda Collectibles. And we have, who came in, Lord Gary. What's up, Lord Gary? Hey, Homestead, welcome. Who else? Okay, we were at Nora, the Stock Explorer. We got John Paul, Brooklyn Chick, Bocarossi, UK Medic. We got from the Philippines, MDT. From Hong Kong, we have Tita Chin. It was her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Tita. And we have also Stories Lost and Found. We have okay, now my list is must be the old age. Let's see, there was Story Lost and Found, and we have Wally from Supreme Geckos. We have Brandon, we have Hannah. We also have Mayhem Miracles, and last but not least, we have Percy, the Mercian metal detecting from the UK. He hasn't been doing much lately. He said he was taking a break, but we'll see him. Usually see him on Sundays. So every other Sunday. So what's up, everybody? Dagmar, welcome. So, how's everybody? John P. Adventures, welcome. Alrighty. Let's see. And let's see who else came in. Jay's Mini Scales Garage. What's up? And like I said, April Fools, everybody. I was thinking of just not showing up and then at the end go, April Fools. But I said, nah. We have to. We have to. We have to. We have to show up. Yeah, so everybody that is monetized, remember you have 10 free memberships to give away every month. You do have to set up a live stream first, and then you have to do it either on your laptop or computer, because I don't think it'll allow you to do it on your phone. Because let me see here. Let me see. John P. Adventures. Let's see here. Yeah, see, I'm trying to do it on my phone, and it's I can only buy. I cannot gift. So, yep, gotta do it on a laptop or computer, guys. Yeah, there was a bunch of live streams going on last night. I was watching a bunch of them. I went to sleep a little early. Usually I stay up late, but I didn't. And then I don't know what's going on with because I got a new laptop and it's a Mac, and Mac was not being, it didn't want to work the right way. It kept saying that my browser does not comply or something. Technology. I usually ask my son for some help. you know. But sometimes you have to. Let's see, what does... Okay, that does that. Yeah, this new phone, I don't like it because it does. Okay, that's sharing. Sharing is caring. Okay, the live chat. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, because I wanted to make sure I was on live chat. Yes, it is. It is. It is. Yeah, I saw the other day Poker Rossi was live, and then UK Medic. Speaking of the devil, see, you say his name, and he just say his name three times. UK Medic, UK Medic, UK Medic, and boom. It's so scary how that happens. What's up, UK? How you doing? Hopefully you're doing good. Yeah, I was watching. What was it? I think it was Nitro. Nitro was doing a live, and he was driving, and then an ambulance is coming by, and then to my thoughts, I go, "Oh, must be UK medic. He probably driving that ambulance." Yeah, it kind of seemed like it because nobody was getting out of its way. Uh, but you know how it is. Let's see.
Walmart Business.
Ooh, Walmart business. Yep, yep. So how's everybody doing today? Anybody doing anything other than unimportant? Any fooling around? Any foolishness? Watching a video. It showed this guy on the freeway with a tree. He bought a tree, but he has a little car. So what does he do? He sticks it out the door. Sometimes it's so funny how people they buy stuff, buy stuff, and they don't think about if it's gonna fit or not. I remember me and my cousin used to work at a furniture store up in San Jose area. It was called Gold Key Furniture, and it was so funny because we would always you know load up the cars for the customers, and then we had some twine, you know, it was made out of plastic, and we had to tie up anything that they wanted to take home with them. And this couple with like 3 kids show up, and they're driving a little like a Corolla, 4-door Corolla, and and the funny thing is they're like, oh yeah, can we take it home? And I'm like, okay, bring your vehicle, and park it here, and we'll load it up for you. So then they show up, and it's like I said, it was a little Corolla. I'm thinking they brought a pickup or something, but people don't think, oh, how am I gonna take it home? So then they back it up, stop, and they bought a dinette set with 4 chairs, you know, a little dinette table, 4 chairs. I go, okay, yeah, yeah. At least they had a blanket, so we put a blanket on top of their hood. Well, not the hood, the top of the car. So we told them, okay, everybody get in and put your window down. So they put their window down, and they uh, they got in, and then I told my cousin, okay, let's grab the table. Flipped it upside down with the legs sticking up in the air. Got the chairs interlocked them, all 4 chairs on top of the table. And then we tied up the chairs with the table, and then we tied the table down. We ran the twine through the car, through in between the windows, the 4 windows, and tied it down nice and snug. And then you can hear the wife telling the husband, it's like, they're tying the doors shut. How are we gonna get out? He's all like, just don't worry about it. We'll worry about that when we get home. Oh my God. And then there was another couple. They bought one of these little furnitures that are about I'd say about 4.5 feet high, all glass in the front, kind of like a triangle shape, goes in the corner where you put all your knickknacks in it. And um and then my cousin, the lady goes, and the gentleman goes, yeah, can you put it in the car? Well, they drive up in a 2-door Dodge Charger, tinted windows, they're all black, you can't see inside. So I said, okay, all right. I told my cousin, well, you know what? It was those old cars, so they're very wide. So and gotta get it done. He ain't gonna listen. He ain't gonna listen. UK. It's like it's like hitting a brick wall. So then I told my cousin, okay, I go sit down in the back seat because they had these foldable, where you push them forward. It had a bench seat, but a split seat. And so I told my cousin, well, go sit in the back seat, and then I'll push it through, so that way it doesn't get damaged or anything on the way in. And so here I am, I'm pushing it and pushing it and pushing it in, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what the heck, I'm like, I can't push it any further, and I'm like, what the heck's going on, I'm like pushing it, and then my cousin starts laughing. He's like, he starts cracking up, and I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And instead of telling me what's going on, just wasted. Oh, UK. And so I'm here. I am pushing in it like the last, you know, 4 or 5 inches. It doesn't fit. Hey, John Paul, what's up? Welcome, welcome. Yep, I'm getting ready for December, man. So then my cousin's like cracking up, and I can't see in the car because windows are tinted, and I'm the roof, so I'm looking at the top of the roof of the car while I'm pushing, and then my cousin, he's like, pull it out, pull it out. So I'm like, okay, okay. So I start pulling it out, and I put it down on the ground, and then all of a sudden, on the other side of the car, this little old lady gets out of the car. This little old lady get out of the car, and she's all like, I couldn't get out. I couldn't get out. And I'm like, what the hell? He didn't tell me that there was a little old lady inside the car, and the other couple didn't either. They could have said, you know what, let her get out first. No, she's sitting in the back of the car, okay? And here I am pushing this thing, and we have her head, it's like this against the side of the car, and I'm pushing it and pushing it. And he's doing is cracking up and laughing instead of telling me, you know what, don't push anymore. But he was like, he couldn't stop laughing. It was so funny, you know. And it was we had so much fun working at that place, you know. I mean, it was a lot of laughs, you know. There was this one Mexican guy, this little short Mexican guy. He was a married guy, but he would always charm the ladies that come into shop because he's a salesman. He's got to sell furniture, so he's all, hey honey, talking to them, how beautiful you look today, this and that. And one day we were out there fixing furniture out in the showroom, and then he's all like, he's hiding behind one of the couches, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's all like, shh, shh, shh. He goes, there's some lady looking for me, and I don't want to talk to her. Hey, Yoda Vintage Cards, what's up? So then, hey, Guru. So then, he's hiding behind the couches, you know, and I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, she's looking for me. Don't tell her I'm here. So then me and my cousin are there, and the lady's all like, have you seen? I think his name was Jose, and he's all like, have you seen Jose? He's a little short guy. And like, no, ma'am, I don't think so. What can we help you with? And she's all like, well, I bought one of those Cleopatra chairs, you know, and it was those ones that you like a couch, but it's just straight. You just lay on it, with your legs up, and like Cleopatra. If you ever seen the movie, she's laying on one of these chairs styles. Hey, Center Heel Cards, what's up? And so then we go, well, what did you need? Well, I needed to find out if it was ready. Well, why don't you ask in the front? They'll probably be able to help you. So then she takes off. She takes off, and then and I go with her, because to find about it. So I asked the guy that does because I guess they were doing a repair on her thing. And he's all like, oh, she goes, oh yeah, is it ready? Yeah, okay. Can you deliver it? Yeah, we can deliver it. So they were gonna deliver it to her house. And then I asked the guy, the repair guy, so what happened to the chair? He goes, oh well, because this lady was kind of big, you know. So he's all like, yeah, she took a dive on it, you know, instead of just sitting down and laying down, she like threw herself on it, so she cracked the wood in the furniture. So he had to reinforce it, and he said he goes she ain't gonna break it this time. He goes I put a 2x4 in there, you know. He goes, if she's gonna break a rib if she does it again. Uh, and so he's all like, oh my god, he was a character. This guy at the he used to fix furniture. Like if you had a gash in the furniture, he used to like putty it, fill in the hole, then he would spray paint it, you know, with all these different kind of sprays, and he matched the paint and everything, you know, of the furniture. But you know, we'd always be, you know, delivering furniture. My cousin went on a delivery one time. Oh my god, there was another guy that we got hired by Manpower. It was a company that, you know, gives you jobs different places. So this company was basically closing up because it was they raised the rent too high. So they said, well, you know, we only need workers for about 3 months. You know, so we would go to work. They would buy us lunch and stuff. You know, we didn't even have to bring our own lunch. In fact, one time the owner, you know, he liked us so much, he gave us his card and said, "Here, go take them to eat." You know, we went to go Red Lobster, and had some steaks. And I didn't eat. I mean, I wasn't into lobster or anything like that, so I didn't have that. But yeah, and he gave us his phone number. He goes, just in case, because you know, three Mexicans with a expensive credit card going into a restaurant with that doesn't have your name on it. They're gonna they're gonna say, I don't know. I don't trust these guys. So we all ordered food. This was back like in 1980s, you know. I think the thing cost at the end with all the desserts and everything. I think we might have ended up paying about $30. You know, because back then, I mean, $30 is a lot of money. You know, but you know, we go to the register to pay, and he gave it to me. He goes, "I trust you. I don't trust the other guy because," and he trusted my cousin too. But he goes, "Here, you take care of it." And so we went and had lunch, came back. And before we left, I asked him, I go, "You sure I can? There's enough money on the card?" He goes, "Oh man, that card you can buy about 5 houses with it, the because it was a company card." Yeah, I go, "Oh, okay. Well, bye." I said, "Yeah." So then we went and ate. Then we went back to work, and then you know, we just go, "Okay, all right, let's go back to work and get him back his credit card." Well, of course they called when we went to go pay. You know, they're like, "Yeah, here's the phone number. You can call them." So they said, "Okay, yeah, it's all fine and dandy," you know. But let me see where I was trying to figure out here. Oh, okay, yeah, now I know where it's at. It's, I think, right here. You switch. Yeah, yeah. So we had good time there, working there and stuff. But he's all like, okay. And then my cousin ended up going to. Why is it flashing? What's going on? Why are we flashing? Are we losing power? There's nothing flashing in here. It's in the phone. Doom, doom, doom. I hope it's charging. I got the phone plugged in, or else we might lose contact. So we went back, and then my cousin said, "Oh, I'm going to go on a delivery." Well, the other guy that used to work with us, he used to like to get high all the time. He was always high. Even the boss, he said, he's okay, but keep an eye on him because he was always getting all high and come to work all high. His eyes were all red and stuff. I'm like, this guy's dangerous. I'm gonna, sometimes, you got to work together and drop something on you, you know. And then you got to wear steel toes. I found that out. You got to wear steel toes because one day after that, I wore steel toes. I'm working with my cousin, and we were moving a sleeper sofa. And you know how heavy those things are. So he pushes it, and when he pushed it, what the heck is going on with this thing? Why is it flashing? Let me flip it around. Ooh, I like this effect. We'll go back to normal. Maybe I accidentally hit something that it's like. Hey Nora, what's up, Nora, the Stock Explorer? There she is. Welcome, welcome. My cousin, he decides to go on a delivery with with a driver and then this guy that's always high. And this was in the San Jose area, and then they went to this one place it's up in the mountains. He told me how they got there was like one road going in, one road going out. There was no it wasn't even a street, it was just a dirt road. There's like cliffs on the side. So they're going up this road, and then they get up there, this huge house. It's like 3 stories high. And they bought some furniture. So my cousin and all 3 of them guys are delivering it. Well, they bought a couch. They figured, oh well, we're gonna put it in the living room or in on the bottom floor. No, of course not. Nah, it's not that easy. They gotta go all up these stairs, and these stairs are not straight up. It would have been nice, have those big giant stairs, like you've seen in that movie Gone with the Wind. Big banisters. And you're like just fit anything up them stairs. Well, these are like a spiral almost going around. So my cousin says he's on the bottom, and he's pushing it up, and the other guy, the one that's always high, is holding the other end, and he accidentally lets go, and boom, there goes one of the corners of the couch into the wall. And then he said this was an Asian couple, and they start speaking, in their language, and and my cousin's all like, I don't know what the hell she was telling her husband, but she wasn't very happy. And then her husband's going, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. And well, yeah, of course the company's gonna pay for that damage that they caused, idiot. So after that, my cousin said, forget it, never ever again. I'm going on delivery with him. It was crazy, you know. And then we had another gentleman. At least this guy had a truck. He had a pickup truck, big long bed truck, and then he bought a lot of furniture. He bought a two sofas, a love seat, and a regular full size. He bought a dining room table. I mean, it was big. It had, I believe, 6 chairs, and we fit everything into it. But the funny thing is, we took the sleeve. There's like when the table, you open it up to make it bigger. You open it up to make it bigger, and you pull out the sleeve. Well, we took out the sleeve and put them on the side, and we're loading it up, putting all this furniture. Even bought a ottoman also for you put your feet up on the couch, and we got everything on there loaded, tied up, down, and everything, and then right when they left, I turned around and I go, oh shoot, the doggone the doggone sleeve was there. I'm like, oh man. After we and they were going pretty far, so I don't know. They probably came back another day and picked it up, but we said, okay, what can we do? You know, and then there was another gentleman that I was talking to the guy that fixes the furniture, and there was like a part of a sectional, you know, there it was all like it looked like a tractor ran over it, and I'm like, what the heck? What the heck happened to this thing? Well, some people were buying the furniture, and they had a bunch of, one of those sectionals that has a bunch of pieces, and they did bring a truck, and then they had the tailgate down, but I guess whoever tied it up didn't tie it up right, and so, because sometimes we'll let the customers, hey, you want to, there's some twine, we'll give you some twine, you can tie it down, and I guess they didn't do a very good job of it, so they're instead of going down the freeway, kind of slow. No, these guys, they go on the freeway, they're going 65 miles an hour, but they have another family member in another car, keeping an eye on it, making sure nothing falls off. Well, guess what? Something fell off. And guess what? The car ran it over, destroyed it. I mean, come on. You're not very smart. You're not going to be flying through the freeway with a doggone furniture, and then it's a piece going to fall out. Of course, it's going to get damaged, you know. But, it was a lot of fun. It was like during, I think it was, what was it? We worked there 3 months, November, December, and January. And they had a bunch of big sales, they had couches and Nora, what is up? Yeah, I saw you doing your scratchers the other day. Yeah, so then yeah, they used to bring us catering and stuff, and then one of the girls that worked there, it was she brought some rum balls. Okay, I had never had I had never had rum balls. Okay, and I was in my 20s at the time, but I don't drink. I stopped drinking when I turned 21. I drank when I was younger. mm, You know, started young, stopped and quit. Well, she brings over rum balls, and she's like, hey, do you want some rum balls? I'm like, what is it? Oh, it's like cake. She didn't tell me it had alcohol in it, and we're at work. So I'm like, oh man, damn, these are good. I'm like, hey, give me another one. I'm popping rum balls, and I'm like, after a while, I'm like, oh man, why am I feeling and this was at the start of the day of work. And then later, yeah, don't you know it has rum in it? I'm like, what? I'm like, oh man, if I would have known, I wouldn't have had any. But and then I remember back, there was these commercials, coffee commercials, where they showed this guy. He comes into the office, and he's all like a werewolf. He's all like, ah, and then finally he gets his cup of coffee and he drinks some coffee, and then he turns back to normal. Well, there was this one guy that came in one day, and then he was like, hey, good morning, and he's all like, ah. I'm like, so it reminded me of that commercial, because once he had his coffee, it was like he was, hey, how's it going? How's it going? He was a nice guy, but you know, it was kind of crazy. And then we used to drive when we drove home. I used to take this through the city streets, instead of getting on the highway, and then because we it would be a longer way, but it was a kind of windy, not windy, but I mean, I'd go turn here, turn there, down these different roads over in San Jose, and we're driving. I'm driving home, and then I told my cousin, you know, Yeah, yeah, I was buzzing. Believe me, yeah, I was buzzing, man. So, so then I'm driving. We're driving home already, a long day, and it was during the winter time, and it was cold. So we're wearing beanies and t-shirts, and suddenly I tell my cousin, I go, this vehicle behind me is kind of following, and every time I change lanes, it changes lanes. It's suspicious. I think he might be maybe undercover or something. You know, and then I keep driving and driving, and all of a sudden, we're like, here comes a police car and gets next to him, and they're behind me, and I'm like, okay, all right. I'm like, what's going on, and then another police car shows up, and I'm like, oh, that's it. I told my cousin, you know what, I'm going to pull into this. It was like a little shopping center. They had restaurants and stores in there. It was pretty busy. So I pull in, you know, I put it in park, and then I'm getting off, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? I was getting off, and I'm going, what's going on? And then when I heard that, when I did that, I turned around, and then the cops had their guns drawn. One of them had a shotgun, and the other one had. I'm like, oh shoot! They're like, get back in the car. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, oh man. So I told my cousin, hey, don't do anything stupid. These guys are trigger happy. They're gonna probably kill us. So then he's all like, turn off the car. So I turn off the car, throw out the keys out the window. So I throw out the keys out the floor, and then they're all like, oh, shall we pull them out of the car? And he's all negative. Wait till the other car gets here. And they got another police car comes, and then all these people coming out of the restaurant start like there's a bunch of people looking like, oh, look at these criminals. I'm like, we're innocent. We're already, you know, probably gonna die here. I said, luckily I'm still here. But so then the guy goes, okay, driver, get out of the car. So I, pull the door from with your right hand, and then get out, and then slow, and then you turn around, with your hands up, turn around so they don't see, no weapons. And then they say back up to him, and I backed up to him, and I was like right on the police car bumper, and I'm like, I'm tired, I'm like, I've been all day at work, so I kind of lean on the car, and he's like, get off the car. Oh, okay. And so I'm like, okay, okay. So then they're like, okay, come this way. And then they handcuff me. And I'm going, what's going on? What's going on? Shut up. I'm like, it's like they handcuff me, throw me in the car, in the back seat. Then they're going to pull out my cousin. So I am sitting in the police car looking at my cousin. I'm like, oh man, is he going to do something stupid? Because he was a kind of a jokester. My cousin was. It's like, is he going to do something stupid? And I'm going to see him get shot, in here at this shopping center, and we're gonna be on the news and everything. Innocent man shot by stupid police. So, so I'm like, okay. He gets out of the car, and then they're all like, raise your hands, and then they're like, lift up your shirt, because he had like a Pendleton shirt, and then he's all like showing, okay, and then he's all like, okay. And then they took him into custody. They took him to another car. And I'm like, I'm still sitting in the car knowing nothing of what is going on. Then they're searching the car. They opened up the trunk, looked everywhere. Of course, we don't have anything, And then all of a sudden, then they pull me out of the car. I'm like, what's going on? It's like, and oh, you're free to go. It's like, oh, just like that, huh? Free to go. And I told my cousin, what's going on? I got in the car, and he's all like, oh, he goes, yeah. They brought some guy to ID me. He goes, it was this liquor store, this Asian guy. He comes and then he looks, and he goes, no, no. He goes, they were African American. I guess that should have been the first thing that they should have put out, but they had because they were wearing beanies and T-shirts. Okay, I'm like, profiling, but it's like, oh man, yeah, they were like, where's the money? They were over there telling them, where's the money? Where's the money? So I'm like, what are you talking about? What money? We just came from work, you know. And he never, and my cousin, he would never carry his ID. He didn't like carrying a wallet, so he didn't carry his ID. And I'm like, you need to carry your ID. And the thing is, this was the second time. Yes, yes, for the investigation, hey, by the way, they're African American. And it's like, I'm a little tan, but not that tanned, you know. And we had already had an incident like that same week. We were at work at the furniture store. We're outside waiting to get in. All of a sudden, my me and my cousin are out there with a couple other people, and then all of a sudden we see a police car. Police car drives in. He parks like right next to us. He gets off the car and he's all like, "Oh, hi there," and all this, and then out of nowhere just grabs Rob RC. What's up? All of a sudden, he grabs my cousin, from the hand, and then boom, puts it in back of his back, and boom, he's on the hood. So my cousin has his head on the hood. I'm like, what the hell? I go, what are you doing? What? Why you got my cousin on the? He's all stand back, stand back. I'm like, okay, okay, but like, what the hell? What's going on? And then he's all like, what's your name and all this, asking him his ID. He doesn't have his ID, and I told him, carry your freaking ID with you, dude. That way you won't have the issue if they're looking for somebody with a certain name and you're fitting the profile. You're not gonna, because we were wearing beanies, white T-shirts again. So this guy shows up and he has him handcuffed, and then I tell him my cousin's name, and he's all like, well, that's not the guy we're looking for. And then our boss shows up from the furniture store and he goes, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing to our guys? He works with, they work with us. Oh, well, didn't you call? And we're like, no. They go, and then he said a name of a store. Well, the warehouse we worked in, it was broken into two pieces. Same address, but there's a front and a back. The back part, there was another part. And I guess one of the employees was getting violent with the boss, so he called the cops on him. And of course, wearing a beanie, white T-shirt, you know, it's like, okay, we're not profiling. But, and he's all, unhandcuffed him, and let him go. But I told my cousin, see? And then right after that, that's when the other incident happened. And I told him, dude, after that, he did carry his ID after those two incidents. It was like, that's it. You're going to get killed, you know. But yeah, we had a great time there. We worked there, and then and we ended up working a little bit longer because that third month, because they had another warehouse where they had all the mattresses, and we had to take apart everything and stuff, and then bind everything, and then load it up on a semi. So we did all that, and then the boss really liked our work and gave us cash bonus. He goes, here's $100, guys. Split it between you guys. Me and my cousin, because the other guy, they let him go a long time before. They didn't need that many people, and since he liked the way we worked, we were there till the end. But yeah, he even offered us a job. He goes, yeah, if because they had stores in San Diego and stores in L.A. He goes, hey, I have a store in L.A. If you ever need a job, come and see me. Oh, hey, I like the way you guys work. Very hardworking people. You people. No, I'm just kidding. So he's all like, okay, all right. I said, well, we don't really want to move over there. We kind of have family here now, and in the San Jose area. So it's like, no. But it was fun working at that store. We had a lot of fun. But things that we go through, and then now I'm doing security, and I've worked in two hospitals. That's another thing. Working in hospitals, man, you see a lot of stuff, crazy things. They also had prisoners. We took care of prisoners at the hospital. But then other guards would come and cover. And we tell them, the TV is the prisoners, not your guys. You guys are here to watch him, not to watch TV. And what did these guys do? They thought that they could take over the TV and watch whatever they wanted. Prisoner didn't like it. He took a dump, grabbed the shit, threw it all over the guards. I was like, oh my God. Threw all the crap they had. They ended up having to go get changed out. And we told him, didn't we tell you? And then he was spitting on people, and we called the sheriff department and said, you know what? This guy's being a problem. He doesn't want to listen, you know. So I said, okay, well, we'll be there to pick him up. So they took him back sooner than he would like. I mean, if he would have behaved, but and there was some crazy stuff that happened there. Also, we had. I remember one time we had in the ER there was I guess a big time cartel guy or something, because they had the marshals. The marshals came in. All of a sudden, we see these vans show up, and these marshals, with freaking rifles, the not the AK ones, and I'm like, okay, and they were supposed to fly him out. They're supposed to fly this guy out from the hospital on a helicopter, but then they found out that in the helicopter there's no room for any police officers, so it's only the patient and the pilot and the two nurses. And they said, nah, this guy, if he's up there, he might try something, you know. So then they said, well, so they had me and my cousin guarding the doors. He was on the outside door, and I was on the inside door. Nobody was coming in. We weren't letting anybody in and out of the emergency room at that time. And then one of the guys goes, well, they went to go get more backup. They said more firepower. He said, because they were going to move him. I think, to a different hospital, and they're going to end up having to drive him there. So they were going to need another vehicle with more firepower in case somebody would try to break him out. Well, because in prison, as soon as somebody's doing something, the word gets out. Well, his wife found out that he was in the hospital, and and here she comes, hey, asking about him. And they said, no, there's nobody there. Nobody by that name here. Of course, she knew he was there, but there was nothing she could do. And so then they came with all the other vans, and then they loaded them up, drove them off, But yeah, it was kind of heck. They were like, oh, told my cousin, I'm like, you're out there at where the drive up is, for the ambulance and stuff. I was inside, Usually, if they're gonna come and shoot out, it's gonna be out there. I'm like, good luck. Yeah, but it was crazy. Some of the things that we see in the hospital. Patients. We had a patient that he kept calling, pushing the button. He wanted the nurse, and the nurse were busy. They couldn't come. So what does he do? He gets the phone that's in his room and he calls 911. Police show up. Yeah, we got a call that there was somebody being held prisoner here. So we told him, hey, cops told him, you can't be doing that. They took away his phone privileges. Yeah, that's why you don't leave anybody by themselves at the hospital, man. You gotta take care of your family members, But how's everybody doing? Yeah, I mean, it's crazy the things that happen in our lives and stuff. I remember back in what was this, 1979, 80. I was in Phoenix, Arizona, going to automotive school. And my friend, he was drinking, had a couple of beers. Then he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna go get some more beer." And I told him, "Are you sure you can drive, dude?" I hadn't been drinking. I wasn't drinking, and I told him, "I go, you sure you can drive?" He's all like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I can drive." And this guy was a real short guy. He's like probably 4 feet high. I mean, I'm 5'8", and he was like way, way low. And then he had a roommate. This roommate was huge. He was like 6 foot something, and big. So then they were drinking. We went to the liquor store, and then in Arizona, back in that time, there's no turn. When you want to turn left, you have to pull to the middle of the intersection and wait for the red light to change, and then you take it. Well, that's what we were doing. We just gotten out of the apartments. We weren't even a block away. Right when we got out of the apartments, there's a stoplight, and it's going to turn left. Well, and this was at nighttime already. And then here comes this truck, an old like 1960s truck, you know, 2 door. And I go, "Step on it," because I see him coming. It was already a red light, and he's flying through the intersection. So he steps on it. When he steps on it, I go like this because I know there's gonna be an impact. So I put my arm like on the armrest, and I kind of flexed my legs. We didn't wear seatbelts back then, guys. There was no such thing as seatbelts law back there. We don't need seatbelts. Plus, there was only a lap belt. You're probably gonna get more damage from the lap belt, than anything else. Your inside's gonna get crushed or whatever, get internal bleeding or something. But so here I am in the car, you know. Hey, what's up, Dennis? So here I am in the car, and then it was a big 4 door Oldsmobile Bonneville, I think it was. Well, I told him step on it, and he stepped on it, and luckily he did because the truck was going to hit right where I was, and it ended up hitting the back wheel and the back window. So all those windows, boom, busted out, all flying. I had my window down, so there wasn't going to really be any glass, but I was probably going to get hit by the impact. So then it spun us around. We were going east. We ended up pointing west, and I when I saw that the truck was, and I turned my face away, and then boom, right when it hit, I went like this to see the truck. And it is true, when you're in an accident, I don't know if people, how like in the movies everything is like slow motion. It does look that way. I was seeing everything in slow motion. He's going like 65 miles an hour. Who knows how fast he was going? Yeah, in slow mo. He's like, and I'm like, oh, and then I'm seeing the truck, and it hit, and it's like flipping upside down. So the truck was flipping upside down, and we're spinning, and it ended up on its back and slid. So all of a sudden, once we stopped, I mean, I was like, my adrenaline was so, I just boom, I got out of the car. I was on the sidewalk looking at the car, and then I saw the truck, and then the guy, and then also same thing with the guy that was driving. He's on the sidewalk, and then everybody's like, "Oh my God, is everybody okay?" Yeah, everybody was okay. The guy who runs out of his truck, "Yeah, it's your fault, blah blah." I'm like, "What the hell? You ran the red light." So the cops showed up, and then I'm like, "Oh man, this guy's been drinking." And then the cop asks him, "Well, have you been drinking?" He goes, "Yeah, 1 beer." No, he had at least 3 or 4, and this guy's short. So then, what was it? So then he goes, "Well, I got to do a sobriety test." I'm like, "Gosh, shit, that's it." And I told the cop, gave him all my information, and then I told him what happened. That we were at the light waiting, and then once it turned red, he started turning. So that truck was no way should have been going. So then he goes, Yeah. So then, yeah, my life flashed before me. Like I said, your life flashes before you. It's like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. But so then he like does the sobriety test, touch your nose, walk a straight line. He walked a straight line and passed it. And the guy, he's like, okay, you didn't do a breath test. Good, luckily, because he probably would have, this was back in 1980, 79. I mean, they didn't do all those things back then that much. It basically was the nose, the close your eyes, walk a straight line, So he passed all those tests. So that was fine. We're like, oh, okay, we're okay. And then the guy's like, yeah, yeah, well, we'll see you in court. So then, this guy, he tried to, he shows up, to my friend's apartment, the with another friend, him and another friend show up, and I was there at the time. And it's funny because I get a knock on the door, so the short guy comes out and he's all like, yeah, what's going on, and he's all like, well, you need to pay for this, blah blah blah. It's all your fault, blah blah blah. No, we said, we'll see you in court, and this and that, and well, no, you're not, and this and that. He had his friend, like he was gonna do something about it, and then my friend goes like this, knocks on the door, tells his roommate to come out. His roommate came out, and the guys went like, oh shit, it's like, oh yeah, what do you want? Oh no, nothing, nothing, nothing. We'll see you in court. And we ended up going to court in front of the judge and all the evidence. And yeah, the guy, it was his fault. So my friend didn't have to pay nothing. I mean, his car was all messed up. I mean, he drove it back to the apartment and it was all like the tire, because he hit the tire, the back tire, the axle was all messed up. So he needed a whole back window. The passenger in the back seat window was out. And then all the damage to the side of the car, it ended up being, I think, totaled. Probably wasn't going to be worth it. Hey, Corner, what's up? So, yeah, I was like, oh man, I go, survive that, or else I wouldn't have been here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was kind of like Hightower looking dude. Yeah, he was huge. He was part Indian. You know as they say, FBI. He's a big effing Indian. But yeah, he was tall, and it was like, I mean, I'm 5'8", and I would have to look up. He was like one of those linemen from the football. It's like, yeah, yeah. What, you want to mess with us? Oh, no, no, no. Sorry, so sorry. So they took off, and we saw him in court. He didn't even have. My friend hired a lawyer. He didn't have nobody. He just himself, because he was the only person in the vehicle. He had no other witnesses. So he got. It's like three. It was three against one, basically. The lawyer and us and our two. And then I told him. And then the police officer. The report he did, and of the evidence that we gave. We both gave the same thing. That he ran the red light, but he was in a hurry. I was like, okay, yeah, but yeah, it was crazy. We were living in Glendale, Arizona at the time. Yeah, we went to automotive school over there. All three of us were in the school. But yeah, it was crazy. Back in the day. Used to drive. I had a Mercury Marquise. I was driving with a 429 engine, 4 barrel. Man, that thing. I would step on it and it like laid rubber, man. But then gas wasn't as expensive as now. It was 60, like I think probably like 68, getting toward the dollar almost back then. And it's like, oh man, because I mean, I remember when we used to go to high school, it was like 39 cents a gallon. We'd be going like this. Everybody's like, because my friend used to drive a Chevy Corvair, little car, and I mean, it just fumes. We'd like, okay, okay, hey, I got a couple of dimes. Everybody, okay, we got $1. Put $1, and they're like, yeah, we got enough gas for the whole week almost. Yeah, that's what I was driving. A Mercury Marquis. So that was my car for 429 Mercury Marquis. It was a 19. Let's see, what was it? No, not 78. Mine was a 1970. 1970 Mercury Marquis. Yeah, and my my grandma had some kids she was taking care of. He bought it, and then he was going to go into the military. He went into the Marines, and he had the car. And then I told him, hey, you know what? Because I've been saving money. Because every summer I'd go work in L.A. at my aunt's. She had a fruit stand, Grand Central Market. And she's all like, yeah. And then she'd pay me money. I'd make about $60 a week back then in the 70s. And then, I was saving my money in the bank. And then I told him, hey, you know what? I'll buy the car off of you. You know, how much will you sell it to me? And I forget how much he sold it to me for. It wasn't very much. I mean, I think he paid like $500, and then he didn't really do very much to it. So as soon as I got it, I tuned it up, put new spark plugs in it. Back then it had points and condenser, you know, replaced those, and then it ran really nice. It was good. The only bad thing about it, it did not have a heater because the heater core was leaking. So what they did, they bypassed it. Instead of the water of the radiator going through the heater core, it was just going into a hole, to a hose and another hose. They bypassed it. A-track player, yes. Yeah, one of my friends, when I was going to school back there, in that Mercury Marquis, and he goes, hey, I got this 8-track player. You want me to, I'll give it to you, he told me. He was a good friend. He had an 8-track player just laying there. So he's all, I'll put it in your car. I'm like, I don't really have anywhere to put it. He goes, well, you can put it in your in your glove box. So he put it in the glove box. And I used to put 8 tracks in there, and listen to music. And then the funny thing is, well, not funny because they broke into the car. Me and my friend, we were in Flagstaff, and he's all, hey, let's go to the disco. There's this discotheque, and we're like, okay, I'll go. W- Let's go. And he was real more whiter than I am. I mean, he was like, he looked like a white person. He was Mexican, but he didn't look Mexican. And we went to this disco, and then the funny thing is, we're in there, and they're like, "Are you sure it's safe here?" I didn't even have an alarm or anything. And back then, people break into cars real easily. They stuck the into the windshield, and boom, popped up. Even though my car had nothing, it had those long, slim, door locks. So I don't know, they probably pulled the handle or something with a. They got in. They broke in, and I didn't have anything valuable except for the 8-track, which was in the glove box, and I had locked it. You know, maybe if I would have left it unlocked, they wouldn't have. They yanked the glove box, you know, and then they ripped the. It wasn't, it was just in there, laying in there, so they just took it. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like shit. But then before we found out, we're having a good time dancing and stuff, and and then my friend, he's all like, because there was two different levels. I think it was three levels. They had different music, you know, and there was different people in one level. They had the music, and there was a lot of Mexicans, African Americans, and some white people, but not very many. And it was so funny because you get these guys, and and they're so tall. They even have to go like this to because they got a beam in the room. They're so doggone tall. I'm like, dang, these guys are tall. And then they didn't bother us or anything. They were bothering my friend more because he looked more white than anything. Like, what are you doing in here? You're in your you're in the wrong place. as to say they're kind of telling them. But they they left us alone. We were just dancing with some girls and stuff, and then we went down to the other one, and then let's go home. Then that's when I found out they broke into my car. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, I go, yeah, oh well. The only damage they did was to the glove box. I had to fix it. I ended up fixing it. But yeah, I mean, the 8 track was free. I told my friend, hey, you know what? They stole that 8 track you put in there. Don't worry, don't worry about it. But yeah, I was like, okay, all right. And then we would drive home every like Christmas or any vacation that we had. you know. And then one time, and he goes, "Hey, I can drive you guys back home." We were driving back home in my car, and it had a bench seat in the front, and it was two-door, but it had a split seats. But there was enough room for 3 people in the front. And this was in winter time, Christmas time. And then they're all like, "Damn it, it's cold in here." I go, he's all, "Turn on the heater." I go, "I have no heater." And then air was coming in through everywhere, and we're like freezing. It's like, I don't care. And everybody. Then what's his name is all like, I go, "I got blankets." So then we just all sat in the front seat, blankets, and we're like all driving, freezing. It was about a 2-3 hour drive to get home. But then I was speeding. I was like, "Ooh, I want to get home. And luckily didn't get pulled over or anything. But it was we had fun. Yeah, the 8 tracks. I still have 8 tracks. I even have Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, 8 track. I don't have any way to play them now, but maybe I'll get one. Get an 8 track player. I think they still make them. I think I saw where they have a combo where they have 8 track cassette, radio, and a turntable. I mean, I have turntables. I have records. I used to mix tapes. Go buy 10-inch records, and then put them into cassette tapes. And everybody, "Oh man, where'd you get that cassette tape?" "Oh, I made it myself." Oh, because they had all the, you know, new music. I used to go when I was in San Jose. I used to go to the store and buy records. The big 12-inch record singles, and then make tapes. Hey, what's up there? I forget Tim. Hey, Tim Sweeney, what's up? Yeah, so it was fun. You live as long as I have. You go through a lot of stuff. Don't regret any of it, but we learn from our mistakes, as they say. But some of the new kids around, they don't listen. You know, Nowadays the technology, every all the kids are always fighting on the internet. It's like, oh yeah, the the key, what they call them, key warriors. Yeah, yeah. I used to. I still have those cassette tapes that I recorded. They're 90 minute cassettes. You know, so 45 minutes per side. And then I used to have on my truck. I used to have a Mazda B2000. Had a Fosgate. I still have the Fosgate amps. I got 2 amps, a 150 and a 45 Fosgate. And I used to have 210s and 212s, and then mid ranges and tweeters. And it was a King Cab Mazda B2000. Had the boom box in the back. And then I used to put a quarter on the roof of the truck, and it could, from the boom boom, it would just flip it. Yep, Fosgate. Yeah, those things are great. I never. They're from. I bought them back in 1980s. I've had it since 1980, and then I sold the Mazda truck. It was a stick shift. My wife's all, "You gotta sell the truck." I'm like, "Oh man, my brother likes it. He wants it." Yeah. So she's all like, "Cause I can't drive it. I don't know how to drive stick." I'm like, "Well, I guess I had to sell it." So I sold it. What's up, Tupac? How's it going, man? Yeah, I tried again to get on the laptop, and then I was too tired. I didn't go in the back. How you guys how you guys doing, man, back there? But yeah, so I had the Fosgate. I put it. I bought all the stuff and I installed it all in my truck. Well, yeah, you know why? Because then because you get ticketed. I mean, I got a ticket back then. In fact, yeah, when I was driving, because I had a cassette player. I had a pull out Kenwood. I have a pull out Kenwood cassette player and a CD player that would slide in the same slot. So then I I was playing my CD player in it. It was pretty good on the bumps. It wouldn't skip unless I hit a real boom, real hard bump on the road. Like a pothole. Of course, it was gonna skip. You know. Yeah, yeah. Cruise. I remember. I mean, when I was in Phoenix, we used to cruise down Central. It was up in South Mountain. Yeah, you go up South Mountain and then you drive down. We used to go up there, and so here I am driving. It was in San Jose area, and I'm driving through the city. It was at nighttime, and then I would never put it real loud. I mean, it would bump. I mean, it had a nice kick, and I would have it at the highest I used to go was three. And it had up to 10. If I put it at 10, man, that thing would probably shake. It would be like those, how you see those videos on YouTube where the guy's hair is flying and because they got and they had all these speakers flying up and down. And all I had was two tens and two 12s. And so then I'm playing Run DMC. Run DMC. I don't know if you ever played Run DMC, and then they got that boom where it hitting that bass, on that one song. And I'm driving, and then all of a sudden I turn on the street, and then when I turn on the street, then all of a sudden behind me I see light. I see the cherry lights. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, dag nabbit. So I get pulled over, and then the cop, you know why I pulled you over? I'm like, no, I knew, you know. He's all like, he goes, you're playing the music a little too loud. And I'm like, I only had it on three, you know. And then he goes, when I can hear you before I can see you, it's too loud. I'm like, okay, man. And then when I was living up there, we used to go to Salinas. We used to go to Salinas, California, and we used to cruise over there in Salinas. I used to pick up some girls over there. This was way before I was married. I was in my 20s, back in the 80s, and and then I had it was a stick shift, and then I used to get I had a blanket, and I would fold it up, and I would stick it between the two seats. It was two bucket seats, you know, and that way I can carry two passengers, not legally, but two passengers. So yeah, I know the meters. so so then uh so then I'm like, okay, all right. So we're cruising in Salinas, and cops out there, they were just looking to pull people over and harass them. So this cop pulls me over, because we're not supposed to be cruising, because if you do more than one turn, you know, then they legally can pull you over. So he pulls me over to see what he can get. And then the reason he pulled me over was because he said the truck was too low, and then the tires were sticking out too far out. I didn't have mud flaps. I had mud flaps in the back, but in the front I didn't. So he's all like, okay, well, you, and luckily he didn't get me for no seatbelts on the other girl, because legally she couldn't sit there, but she's sitting sideways. There were two skinny girls sitting there. They fit, and and he's all like, rigid suspension. Well, because my truck, I had lowered it. It was on the bumpers, the snubbers, and it was like, and then I had 205. I had 205, 50, 15s on the rims. 8.5 inch wide rims. So they stuck out. They stuck out about almost half of the tread, and you're only allowed a certain amount of tread out. So I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, and then he also got me for, what else did he get? No, I think that was the only thing he got me. He's all like, well, I can get you for rigid suspension, if I wanted to. I'm like, it's an unsafe vehicle to drive. Unsafe? I go, rigid suspension, that's Porsches and race cars have rigid suspension because they handle better, because it doesn't bounce so much, and you can corner real good. I used to corner real good on my truck on the highway because the way it was. So he only got me for too low. Oh no, not for the tires sticking out. Yeah, the only thing he got me was the tires sticking out. So either one or two things I had to do. I had to either buy new rims and tires, thinner tires. And I'm like, that's going to cost, set of tires, at least $800. I had a good job anyways back then. I used to work for Kragen's. I was part of management, so I was making about $10 an hour at the time. Minimum wage was about three something. So I'm like, hey, you know what? And I was single, didn't have to, I was, just helping my mom where she lived, pay the rent and stuff. But the thing is, it's like, well, I'm like, I started thinking, I'm like, well, you know what? They do sell some bushwhackers, the fender flares. And I said, well, I don't want to mess up my truck. And so I said, you know what? Maybe I'll buy some fender flares. The fender flares were the perfect fit and it would cover the right amount of for the tires, and then I ordered them. I worked at the auto parts, so I got a discount on those. The only thing is I had to pay to get them put on and paint them and have them painted the same as my truck to match the paint, which they did. This one shop that every time that somebody did something to my truck, broke in or whatever, they would fix it, or when they backed into my truck on the side one time, I'm like, oh man. I was like, I had such bad luck that time, people backing into my truck right when I bought it. It was like, I think I only had it for like a couple of weeks. Some idiot trying to show off to his girlfriend backed out of a car wash. I was cleaning my car and boom, he backed into right at the tailgate. And I'm like, what the hell? He's all like, oh, it's hardly. I go, what do you mean? I go, it's a brand new truck. I go, you need to. He didn't have insurance. That's another thing. He did not have no insurance. I had insurance. He goes, oh no, I'll pay you. Blah blah blah. Okay. He ended up getting one of his cousins. I mean, they fixed it. It took a while, but I got my tailgate repaired for free. Didn't have to do any. And plus, the insurance said, "Oh well, it's And then I had a different insurance company at the time. It was not Farmers. It was Farmers, but it was now I have State Farm, but it was some other company, and then the guy sold me some cheap ass company, and he wanted to charge me extra if I added rims and tires, and I'm like, so I went to State Farm day, and I said, hey, how much do I ended up paying less, better coverage, and then they want to charge me extra at the other place because of my brother. He lived at home and he had a license. Oh, what if he takes it? It's like, no, I'm the only driver. And if he does, it's still covered. I mean, they try to tell you, like, they try to screw you. I'm like, no, no. So then I got those fender flares put on, and it was about the same price as getting new rims and tires, to get them painted and put on and everything. And it came out good. I mean, it looked good. It was nice, nice. The tires were only sticking out like very little out the sides, so it covered both front and back. Didn't need no mud flaps, you know, and that was great. That way the no more ticket. I got the ticket fixed. It was a fix it ticket basically. So then I just took it to the police department. They wrote it off. Okay, you're good. You know, and then the guy he tried to with the rigid suspension. I'm like, ah, the guy's idiot. So I just stopped going over there because too many, they were hassling us too much, and then couldn't cruise over there. You know, and then one time I was playing my stereo parked, and then I turned it off, and it was a little four-cylinder engine, so it didn't take much to charge it up. But then if you leave it parked, I'm bumping the music at a Jack in the Box, you know, and then some girls show up. Hey, want to go cruising? Yeah, yeah, all right, yeah, get in. They got in, two in the front, and then I opened up I had mine had a camper shell, so I had a snug top, no windows, so it had two of those in between the cab and the snug top. I had two windows, and then I had a carpet kit in the back, so nice carpet kit, so they can sit back there comfortably while we cruise. They didn't hassle you that much about people sitting in the back of a truck. But we used to, and then okay, let's go cruise. So then I got in and I was gonna start it, and it goes click click click. Oh my god! I'm like, damn. I'm like, you know what? It's not gonna start. I'm like, well, you know what? If we back it up, because at that Jack in the Box, it was like a downhill. It was up, up, up. It was on a corner, but it was real high up. So it had like a downhill on the drive through. So I go, all right, just let me help me just push it a little bit, because my truck would boom start up like easily. Put it in first gear, pop the clutch, boom, then start charging up the system, charging up the battery, and then we were gonna go cruising anyways. Had a full tank of gas. Riding in the trucks. Yeah. Well, that's why they came out with those trucks. Remember, I don't know if you ever seen those trucks that had those seats in the back with seat belts and everything. Who was it that came out with Suzuki? I think Suzuki, the Samurais, the truck. They had those in the back of the bed. They had the two little seats. Yeah. Or yeah, the Subaru. Yeah, Subaru. That's right. Yeah, I remember they had those two seats in the back with the seat belts that you can seat belt. Crazy. So so then we went cruising and stuff, and then and then they go, okay, let's they wanted to go somewhere. They told me, oh, there's this road, that goes up this mountain, and here I am, an idiot. I'm like, okay, let's go, you know. So I'm driving up this mountain. It's a dirt road, but before the dirt road, before you go up to the mountain, there's a road, and then there's a cliff on the other side. So I turn to the right, going up the mountain, and we're going up slow, and I'm sliding up. I mean, I'm not sliding, but I'm going up the mountain, and then go up. And then once we go up there, oh, okay, well, let's go home. Let's go back down. So we started going down this road, and it's steep. So I'm like, I'm slowing down, and then I put the brakes, and then it's like sliding, and I'm like, oh shit, it's starting to pick up speed, and I'm like, and I'm trying to slow the truck down, and it's like, and the girls are like, and we're driving down this hill, and here I am, and I'm like, oh shoot, and then right when we get to the bottom, if I go straight, we're dead. So I'm like, right when I get to the bottom, like, and I just like slid in, and then boom, and then they're like, and I'm like, I go, I wanted to do that. I'm like, yeah, right. I was like, yeah, they were so narrow, and also the Suzuki, I mean the Suzuki Samurai, the sidekicks. I don't remember if you remember those. The suspension. I remember when I was working at Kragen's, there was one of the girls that worked there. She had one of those, and first thing she did was she changed the shocks on it, because it was like it was like you're gonna hit the road, and it's gonna break your back. I mean, it was gonna pound your back like crazy. So then we made it out of there, survived, and I said I'm never doing that shit again, because the thing is, there wasn't very much weight on the back, because this was a pickup truck. The bed, the only thing that was in the back was some one girl, and then what was it? Yeah, one girl in the back and the two in the front. And then it only had with the carpet kit. There's no weight back there, so then the back end starts bouncing. Even though it was low to the ground, it was bouncing, and it's like, no, you're putting on the brakes. It's only trying to stop with the front, because the back was bouncing so much. So it started like fishtailing. I was like, oh man, made it. you know, and then so I'm like, okay, all right. And then we said, okay, I'm gonna drop off one of the girls. One of the girls got off. Then the girl that was in the back, she's like, oh, I'm sitting in the front. So she comes, and then she tells the other girl, well, I'm sitting in the. She wants to sit in the middle. Wants to sit next to me. I'm like, okay, And I just met this girl that night. I never, never, you know. But then she's over here, and then she's all like massaging my leg and this. And I'm like, the hell? And it's like, no, 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 no. It's like, so then, so I'm like, oh no, and then I'm like, oh okay, well we're gonna drop you off. No, you could drop. No, no, we're gonna drop you off first. It's like, I want to get rid of her. It's like, it's like, I mean, she was too aggressive for me. It's like, damn, she probably grab me, throw me on the bed, and take advantage of me. I said, no, no, no. I was like, no way, man. Even though I was single, but I'm like, nah, I'm not into that. Especially, I don't know, I don't even know who you are. Just met you today. Who knows how many. So I'm like, so then I dropped her off, and she's all like, okay, bye. I will see you later. I'm like, I hope not. And then so I told the other girl, going, yeah, man, she was like, she's over there grabbing me and stuff. I'm like, oh, no, no, no. It's like, you know, I, we're just having fun. It's not none of that. So then I dropped off the last girl off, and then another day I'm driving around, and then there she is. She's like, hey, I'm like, I just drove by like I didn't see her, but I was like, oh no, nope, nope, nope. But yeah, I used to love that truck. It was nice, you know, and ended up having to sell it. Then my brother-in-law, he messed up the engine. But then the engine, all of a sudden one day it messed up on me, because it had a clutch. It had a clutch on the fan. It had a water pump, but it had a belt. The water pump wasn't really connected to the fan, but then it had a fan clutch, and that would engage by temperature. So that thing gave up, and my truck would always run real cold, real cool, because it didn't. For one thing, it didn't have air conditioning. That was the only bad thing, because when I was living up north, it doesn't get that hot over there. You know, it's like, oh man. And then once you come to the desert, it's like, you know, but, just, you just have to, drive it not as much, it wasn't the one that we would drive all the time. We had another car, but she wanted to get rid of it. I'm like, okay. So ended up selling it. Then, yeah, so basically I had the vehicles I've had, let's see, I had a Mercury Marquise. Well, before the Mercury Marquise, no, that it was my first one. Yeah, I had the 1970 Mercury Marquise. Then after had that one, then my grandmother, she purchased a Toyota. It was a Toyota Corona. It was a Toyota Corona back in the 70s. It was I think it was a 70 something Corona. A little 4-cylinder, 2-door. This thing ran great, but it was stick shift. And my grandmother's all like, she's in her 60s. Yeah, and my grandmother, you're gonna teach me how to drive this. I'm like, okay, all right. So we went to an area where there's no traffic. There's no, they were barely gonna be building. There used to be a bunch of fields, but there was roads there. So I parked, told her get in the driver's seat. I go put the clutch in, and you gotta give it a little bit of gas and put it in first gear, and let it out slowly, at the same time, Well, she's like, I'm like, no, no, give it more gas, give it more gas. And and then she'd pop the clutch and it would turn off. So, okay, put the clutch in, start it up again, do it again. We tried a couple of times. She gave up. She said, you know what? I'm going to give you this car. It's going to be yours. So, so I ended up having that car. And then I fixed it because one day I was driving it. One day I was driving it and all of a sudden, boom, the front wheels, they locked up. And I'm like, what the heck? And then I was like, it wouldn't go anywhere. I was burning rubber in the front. It was like the front brakes locked up. And I'm like, what the heck? So luckily I always carry tools with me, So I got a tool out and I cracked the bleeder on the master cylinder, boom. And then, okay, it released the brakes. Oh, okay, it's fine. And then so I'm like, okay, so it's rolling again. So I'm driving. As soon as I put the brakes on, it locks up again. And I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, okay, maybe so then I had to crack it and then I just drove it, and I had to use the handbrake for stopping. Stick shift, and then I had the handbrake to stop at the stop. I couldn't hit the brakes because if I hit the brakes, it was gonna lock up again. So I drove it back to the house. Then when I got it back to the house, I bought a kit, for the master cylinder. So I rebuilt the master cylinder, thinking it was the master cylinder. So then I'm like, okay. So then I rebuilt the master cylinder, and then I took it for a test drive, and boom, and it locked up again. I'm like, what the heck? So I let it out again, boom, locked up again. And so I took it back home, and I'm like, okay. So then I started looking into it, and then I found out what was wrong. Underneath the master cylinder, where the brake lines go into, it's a little square box, and the little square box, it's called pressure. It's like a pressure regulator, but for hydraulics, for the brakes, because you have disc brakes in the front and you have drum brakes in the back. Now the way the system works is you have when you apply the brakes, disc brakes doesn't take very much pressure to apply the brakes. The back ones has shoes, and they got a cylinder only on the top, and they push out the brakes, and then they put pressure on the drum. It takes more pressure to put the brakes for the rear. So what happened is the thing was clogged. I tried cleaning it, blowing it out and everything, but the valves that were inside of it were getting messed up, and they didn't sell any rebuild kits for that. Basically, you had to buy the whole thing. So it was I think it was like about, it was pretty expensive, that piece. I think it might have been about $38 or 40 back then. This was, in the 70s. Well, no, this was in the 80s. Yeah, it was in the 80s. And so I'm like, okay. So I told the guy, hey, yeah, this is what's happening. He goes, yeah, it's probably that pressure regulator valve, that little block. And yeah, as soon as I replaced that, boom, no more issues, So everything worked great. I had a brand new master cylinder in it. And I used to drive that car all over the place, really, really good little car. And then it started having noise. The exhaust manifold, it got cracked. And then I'm like, oh man, it had a crack on the exhaust manifold. And it was kind of sounded like running headers, and I was like, little 4-cylinder, but no, it wasn't going out the exhaust. It was like in the engine compartment because it was cracked. So I'm like, okay. So I undid the exhaust manifold, and then I took it. I told the Toyota. I said, hey, this Corona has a cracked exhaust manifold. And then the guy looks it up and he goes, oh, you know what? There was a recall. He goes, there was a recall on those because they were cracking. Oh, I'm, oh, really? Oh, he goes, we can get it, we can replace it for you. Well, I go, how much is that going to cost? He goes, oh, there's no cost because on a recall they have to, they pay for everything, the part, labor, everything. I'm like, okay, well, why not? I said, but I'm not the original owner. He goes, doesn't matter. It continues whoever owns the vehicle. No, I'm like, okay. So they got a new exhaust manifold on it, but then I was driving it like that for a while, and everybody was like, oh man, what the heck? Like, you want to race? It sounded like probably sounded like Nitro Freak's car, but with a little 4-cylinder. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, it was like she wanted to. It's like, no. She was a wild girl. So then after that Corolla, then I think we ended up selling it or something. My grandma, oh, you know what? Because I still had my Mercury Marquise that I was driving, and and then my grandma, she had the van. She had a Chevy van. I used to drive that once in a while too. And then she's all like, well, you know what? I'm not going to be able to drive it. And then I couldn't drive it. I couldn't take it with me. Now I kick myself because that was a nice little car. It was a little two-door car, and great gas mileage. I mean, those things run forever, you know, those engines on those Toyotas back in the 80s. And so then I told my grandma, well, you know what? I'm like, I guess I can put it, you know, to sell it. So we sold it. We ended up selling it. Sold real quick. And then we ended up moving up north, and then I ended up, when I was up there, then my grandmother goes, hey, you know what? I'm gonna give you this van. So she gave me a Chevy van. So then now I had the Chevy van, and I had the Mercury Marquise. Well, the Mercury Marquise, I ended up, when we ended up having to move from one apartment to another, it ended up staying there. And I said, well, I got to come back for it. And then I couldn't. By the time I went back, it got towed away. It ended up in a tow. It ended up at like a junkyard. So all of a sudden I get a letter from the junkyard. They're saying, well, we've had your car here for so many days. It's going to cost you this much to get it out, and blah blah blah. I mean, I think I paid $500 for it. $500 for it. And the transmission was starting to leak, fluid. The wiring was, I mean, I would turn on the wiper blades, the engine would turn off. It was pretty old already. It was a 1970 car. This was in the 80s. It was over 10 years old. You know, probably if I would have the engine was pretty good still. I mean, I could have probably rebuilt it and stuff. So then I'm like, okay, I guess I'll let it go because they sent me this paper to sign that release of liability, so they become the owners. They can do whatever they want, and they said that way if you release, we'll sell it, and that's it. You don't know anything. So I said, okay, go ahead. It's going to cost me more to get it than but then now you think, oh man, I should have kept it. It was electric, everything, electric seats, had an electric antenna in the back end. It was inside the trunk, the motor. I mean, it was a nice little car, all kinds of room. I remember when I was driving that one, everybody, hey, you want to sell me the engine? Everybody wanted the engine because they wanted to put it into a Mustang, the 429, because it was a police engine, the one that was in there, 4-barrel. It was a Quadrajet, but yeah, it was like, no, I had to sell it also to the junkyard. So then I had this Chevy van, and then I drove that one for a while, and then the van. After the van, it started messing up. That van had been through 2 accidents in the front, one on the right and one on the left. One, my cousin, she took it to Disneyland, borrowed it from my grandma, and then somebody crashed into it while it was parked. So that was her story. But so my grandma, fixed it. Then another day I was driving it, and then my foot slipped off. It was wet, my shoe, and it slipped off the brake, and it went into the gas, and boom! I hit my dad had his semi parked in the street, and I was parking behind it, and I ended up slamming the other side. The driver's, what was it? The driver's side? Yeah, because it was the driver's side she had messed up, and then I messed up the passenger side front. And then I told my grandma, hey, I'm sorry, but I crashed it. Ah, don't worry, mijo. As long as you're okay, don't worry. We'll fix it. So the insurance, she said she was driving it. The insurance covered it. And then everything was fine. Then she gave it to me, and then pretty soon it was messed up that I couldn't get out either the passenger side or the driver's side. I'd had to get out through the sliding door because I would have to kick the door shut because the damage of the doors they did a lousy job back then when they fixed it. So then I'm like, I told my dad, hey, you know what? I want to get another car. I want to get a car because this one's starting to mess up and it was not running too good. It had a burnt valve in it. We had already rebuilt the top end of the engine, and then it messed up again. So I'm like, you know what? I want to get rid of it. So we're in San Jose, and I saw a 66 Chevy Caprice. 66 Chevy Caprice. It was nice. It was blue. Interior was diamond tuck interior. Everything was original. The paint wasn't original. It looked all nice and neat. The paint job, because they washed it and all this, and look all nice and neat. They wanted. What did they want? I think they wanted like $2,000 for it. For the 66 Chevy Caprice. This was in the 80s. And I'm like, I told my dad, I want that, but I'm not going to tell him that. He goes, don't tell him that you want it. You just, and then they took the van, they're like, hey, do you have the pink slip to the van? Yeah, I got it right here. And then they took the pink slip, and then they sell vans, the van to them, they could sell that van for a lot more money than the 66 Chevy Caprice. So then I told him, I go, well, he goes, are you interested in any of the cars on the lot? I go, well, I was looking at that 66 Chevy Caprice. Can I do a trade? I give you the van and you give me the 66 Caprice. And no, they wanted me to do payments. I'm like, no, I don't want to have any payments. It's all like, I had good credit, but I didn't want to have any payments. I'm like, no, no, no. And he's all like, well, he goes, what about, you give the van and we can finance $1,000. I go, no, I ain't gonna pay no $1,000 for that 66, you know. And I said, look, I'll give you $500 in the van, you know, that's it. Because the van, I mean, my grandma gave it to me. It didn't cost me anything. It was already paid off a long, long time ago. So I'm like, it's, it, you know, it's an asset. So they're like, wow, they did it. I'm like, nah, you know what? No, no, give me, you know what? They already had it in the back. They were already checking it out and seeing that out because because the guy did. He goes, hey, what's up there, Ken? Hey Ken, what happened to your channel? I mean, I was a member, and then all of a sudden I got an email saying that your memberships were paused or something. I don't know what's going on with that on your memberships. Did you like take them off? Did you disenable them? You have no clue? Oh, okay. I don't know what happened. I mean, it was a gift, anyways. I mean, I wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, I was like, I got an email saying, yeah, as soon as the issue gets taken care of, we'll if the month hasn't finished, you'll get it back or something. I'm like, okay. I mean, I still go to your channel regardless if I got a membership or not. So then the guy's all like, oh no, you wanted me to make payments. I'm like, I don't want no payments. And so I told him, I go, look, because they didn't want to let go of the van, so I had that as my advantage. I'm like, no, no. Oh, okay, thank you, Senator. Yeah, so then you know what? You might check. Okay, do you mod a lot of people? Unless maybe you have a rogue mod that's you know maybe they blocked. I mean, I haven't been in your chat for a couple of days. I mean, I don't know if are you seeing my comments? If not, then maybe somebody blocked me. You never know. I mean, people are, for some reason, they do shit like that. Yeah. So then I'm like, okay, this is the last offer. I told him. I said, I'm gonna give you. I was saying 500. Okay, 600 is my final offer. 600, the van, and I'm not. That's it. The car's mine. And he's all like, and if you don't, I mean, if they, because he always coming back. Oh, let me go tell my boss. They're just sitting there. They're just like kicking time. Just making excuses, just trying to, because that's the way they work. They don't, they know right away, but they make it last like, oh, man, I had to tell him, please, please, no, no, that's what they do. So then I told him, look, this is it, $600 and the van, or else I'm walking. I'm walking. I'm out of here. Oh, he comes back. Oh, congratulations, you have a. And he's all like, I go, well, only one thing. I tell him, I I don't have the 600 with me. It's in the bank. We can go pick it up. So he goes, oh, okay, well, let's go. Let's go get it, and we'll finish off the paperwork when you get back. Okay, so he got in the passenger. What the heck? Something was, yeah, and he goes, we have a deal, So let me see this thing. Plug this back. Unplug it and plug it back in. Oh, my phone's not dying. Well, so then I told him, I go, this is my final offer. So then he goes, okay, yeah, we got a deal. So we went to the bank, got my $600 out. Boom, boom, boom. Here you go. Gave me the car. We drove it. We went for a drive. The car drove like great, you know. So then that 66 Caprice, we went. I think my dad had to go somewhere, so we went to Soledad, or past Salinas, and then we drove over there. We parked somewhere at a store. My dad had got off because he wanted to get cigarettes, and then as soon as I'm parked there, and people looking at my car, and I, oh, nice car. He goes, hey, you want to sell it? It's like I'm already getting offers, and I just got the car that day. People want to buy my car. I'm like, no. So then as soon as, so then I drove it, and I drove it, and for a long time, and then one day I took a trip down south, and then when on the way back home, and every time you go, you know, how moms are, oh, bring me this, bring me that, you know, because you're gonna go down south, go give me some Mexican candies and blah 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 and all this. I'm like, okay. So I had the car packed, front seat had a couple things, the back seat, and the trunk was packed with stuff, candies, blankets, all kinds of stuff. This is I'm coming back. It's a Super Bowl Sunday, okay. Super Bowl Sunday, guys. I'm driving up north. Soon as I go up the Grapevine in LA, the engine, it was like it hit 100,000 miles, the car. The original engine, 100,000 miles. Boom. Something, I was like, oh shit. The seals in the valves gave out. Smoke, tailpipe, smoking oil. And I'm like, oh shoot. So I pulled into a gas station. I had money on me. Pull into a gas station, and I'm like, I checked the oil. Oh, no freaking oil. It was freaking burning oil like crazy. And I'm like, I told the guy at the gas station, I go, hey, you got some oil? Yeah, what weights? They had some straight weight. I go, give me the thickest shit you have. I got a case of it. This was in the 80s. I got a case of oil. I think it was like $12 for the case, 12 cans. So I pumped in was those cans where you put that thing on them, and then you dip it into the engine. I filled it up with oil, started it up. It's like took a while. It goes like freaking oil. I mean, the smoke cloud was coming out. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, so here I am driving. I'm like, oh, I'm praying, Lord, come on, baby, you can make it. You can make it. I wasn't even halfway there. I'm coming up, going down the Grapevine, you know, the mountain. I had already got to the top, so I'm going downhill at least. So less and it's going to be all flat from there on, pretty much almost. So then I'm like, oh man. So I'm like, luckily I had a phone on. Let me see, did I have a phone back then? I don't think. I don't think I had a phone. Maybe I did. I forget. Yeah, I called. My mom. Hey, the car. I don't know if we're gonna make it. So I'm driving. And I pulled over. More oil. More oil. Pumped the last cans. The last cans I had of oil, and then I filled up the tank with gas, and then and then when I started up, man, it you couldn't even see in the gas station. It was all that smoke. Too bad I could have made a video of that. Like it was like a fog of black smoke coming out of the tailpipe. I'm like, oh man. And as far as I got, man, there's a place called Lost Hills on I-5. Look it up. Look it up on the map. Lost Hills. And then I pull into this store and gas station, and I parked next to it. And this is Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm like, oh man, and I'm like, still three, about, I'd say a little bit under 300 miles away from getting home. And I'm like, oh man, I was like, no way, man. It was a nice car. And then it was a nice little 66 Chevy Caprice. Old metal cans, yes, with the top. That's what I had. and I pumped the last ones, and it made it to there. And I said, you know what? I'm not gonna put any more oil to it. It's not gonna. It's gonna blow up somewhere, and I'm not gonna be able to. It's better safe right here. So I went in and I go, hey, you know what? Having car troubles. Somebody's gonna pick me up, but I'm gonna be here tomorrow, and I'm gonna tow it away. So please don't tow it away. You know, it's parked next. It's not blocking anything. It's next to your building. And I told him, you know, and the guy said, yeah, I'll leave a note, you know, for the next person. And they were pretty nice about it. Super Bowl Sunday, you know, so I called my mom, hey, you know. So she called the church people, you know, and then they're like, can you go pick me up? Can you come pick me up? And, you know, they picked me up in their truck. And then we loaded everything that I had in the car. I mean, I left the car empty just in case, you know, because then somebody would have broke in for sure, you know. So then I emptied everything into the truck, and then we were like, okay, let's go, let's go to the house. And then the next day, I asked some lady. She had a pickup truck also. I go, can I borrow your truck? I need to get a tow hitch and tow my car in. And she goes, no, you know what? I'll go with you. I go, okay, all right. And then so I paid for the gas and everything, you know, and the tow hitch, and then it bolted up to a hitch. But then to the car, it luckily, you know, the one I got, it's my car is the old bumpers made out of metal. You know, you hook up to the bumper and pull it from the, you know, the bumper. So you put all these in, hooked it up, and all right, let's go. And then we drove away. Then after a couple of miles, pulled over, double checked because some of them got loose, and got to tighten everything up, you know. And we made it. We made it all the way home, you know. And then I parked it, and then I still had my B2000 truck, you know, my Mazda truck. And then oh no, you know what? Did I have the B2000? At that time, I don't think I had I think I only had that car. So then I'm like, okay, well, so I still had to go to work, you know, because I got back home, but then I got to go to work. So I ended up having to ride the bus while my car got fixed, you know. So my car, I knew some friends, you know, and I said, hey, you know what? I need to get this car fixed. You know, I don't really have anywhere. I'm in an apartment. You know, they don't even allow you to do anything in the apartment. Luckily, you know, every once in a while I would do the oil change, you know, real quick. But other than that, you know, or we could wash with a bucket, you know, wash the car. But we couldn't do any other than that. I'm not gonna, you know, be putting in a new engine into a 66. So then I told him, you know, I wanna go through it completely. So he went through it completely. We rebuilt the transmission on it because I didn't want nothing to go wrong with it. So I rebuilt the transmission on it. I got a rebuilt engine for it. The front end, I told him put all the bushings in. So he redid all the bushings, the control arm bushings, the tie rod ends, the ball joints. Ended up having to get an A arm because it was bent. But since it was bent, you know, back then, you know, it wouldn't line up when he tried to put the new one on because it messed up the bushing, so it was crooked, and in no way a new bushing was going to go in there. So he got that. The brakes, he put new wheel cylinders in the back, put a new master cylinder. We put in all new radiator, everything. We went through it from front and back, everything, you know. And they did it for me. I paid them. I think it cost me probably for everything completely, the transmission, the engine, the front end rebuilt, all the brake systems rebuilt. Total I think I probably put into it maybe like $3,000, I think, or less. Might have been 2,000. It might have been $2,000. This was back in the 80s, you know. And, you know, rebuilt engines, 327. It was a 327 Chevy engine, 4-barrel carburetor. Quadrajet, and it was a Rochester and carburetor, and it got we got it all rebuilt, and it ran great. Then after that, I used to wash it, and then every time I wash it, the white rag would be blue because the paint that they painted it, I guess they used watercolor or something. Hey, what's up, Hapwit? So I thought it was watercolor, the paint on it. So I'm like, okay, I need to get it painted. So I used to drive down the alley, and when I used to drive down the alley, I used to always see this gentleman in his garage. He's always fixing cars, painting them, and stuff like that. So I told him, I asked him, hey, how much do you charge? How much would you charge me to paint the? I wanted to paint it like a white top. It had okay. The Chevy Caprice had a black vinyl top, and it had a little bit of starting to get rust underneath. So I need to take that off. So I told him I want a white top with blue. So it was a white top with a blue. The the paint shop had a. I said, hey, can you paint it? And he goes, yeah. I go, well, how much were you charging? Well, if you kind of help out, with any body work, sanding and stuff like that, and you buy the paint, goes $100. I'm like, all right. I said, let's go for it. So he stripped all the paint off, took off the vinyl top, took off the chrome pieces that were, on the back. It had two chrome pieces on the back of where the vinyl went down from the back window, and he stripped it all down. Everything the car had hardly any. It had a couple of dents here and there, but it was no rust. The little bit of rust was starting to build up, but it was from the vinyl top. Good thing we took it off, and yeah, he painted it. It came out nice. I loved the way it looked. So I was driving it for a long time. Then I decided to buy the Mazda truck. After that, then I bought the Mazda Big 2000. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, I remember back in the 70s when I had my Mercury Marquise, I took it across the border, and they did a a Metaflate, a Metaflate blue, and it was beautiful Metaflate and a Mercury Marquise, and they painted it for me. And then when I was crossing the border, the border patrol guy goes, "Oh, nice paint job." Back in the day, they good thick coats, and he's all like, "Oh, so how much for the paint job?" I'm like, "Oh shoot," because anything because they consider it, transporting it across the border. So I go, "Oh, $100. That's what it costs." I didn't know that's. So they go, "Oh, well, you need to pay the tax on it," which was like 6%. So I paid $6 tax, because of the paint job I did in Mexico on that one car back then. So so then uh so then I had the Mazda B 2000. I bought that one. I went in. That was my first new car because all this time I've had used cars. Never had a brand new car, no miles on it. And I said, okay, I want to have at least one car that I can buy on my own. So I went, and I had great credit. I always, I had credit cards, and I buy stuff, pay them off, buy stuff, pay them off. So my credit was great. And then he's all like, well, the Mazda people. It was the year when Miata, they had barely zoom zoom. They were coming out with the Mazda Miata, and they had one there. I saw it. I got to sit in it, and it was like, man, this thing was like. I mean, I'm 5'8", and I could barely, fit in it. You know, I could see somebody taller. There's no way, and it was it was a hard top. You can have a hard top or the rag top. You know, you can removable hard top on it. So I was like, yeah, I'm like, I'm looking for a truck, a pickup truck, a Mazda B2000, but I want a silver one, king cab. And he's all like, well, we don't have one here, but we can get you one here. And then the guy, you know, this and that, and he was, well, you know, you need a co-signer. You need a co-signer if you want to get this truck because you've never owned and never, you know, because it was going to be my first vehicle. And then there's like, well, I told him, I go, you know what? If I can't get it on by myself, I don't want it, you know. So, and then he's all like, whoa, okay, let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can do, as they always. And then later on, okay, yeah, we have a deal. We have a deal, you know. And I think I was paying like two, like 270, 270 something, I think, monthly payments. And it was going to be for like, I think 5 years, I think, you know. So I got it, paid it off. You know, I had money in the bank, you know, because I was always, you know, always had money. So I had at least $8,000 in the bank, you know, because in case if I wanted to have in case something happened, like say I lost my job or something, I still wanted to be able to pay everything. And, you know, because I mean, I was making good money back then and I had I didn't have any bills, you know, the only bills I had, I think was the phone bill. And then I would help my mom pay a little bit of the rent and the electricity and stuff like that. Soft off Mayada, yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and it was like you're sitting in the ground. You're basically touching the ground because I could put my hand outside the door and basically I could actually grab the ground. That's how low the damn cars are. But they were like barely showroom. They were barely starting to sell them. You know, it's like, oh, okay. And then my Mazda truck, it was the last one that was carbureted. I didn't get, I wasn't lucky enough to get the fuel injected one. So mine had a carburetor, but it didn't have no air conditioning. It was just plain, plain heater, you know. But you know, I was up in the San Jose area. It was cold over there, so no issues with the heat hardly over there. Only a couple days in the month, you know. I mean, but it was a nice breeze outside. Unless you're standing out in the sun, then you'd bake yourself. But didn't need no air conditioning over there. I mean, we lived in an apartment without air conditioning. We just had fans in the windows. I mean, it was cold enough at nighttime to be like air conditioning at nighttime. But so then I had the B2000 and I had the '66 Chevy Caprice, you know. And I was driving my truck more, and my car was just parked there, you know. And then they had the engine they had sold me on the '66 Chevy Caprice had valves. The valves started leaking, so it was still under warranty. So I took it to their shop, and they from where I bought it from, which was it was a shop at the Kragen, because I got it through Kragen's, the engine. And they said, well, you know, you take it to the shop and they'll fix it. It's under warranty. They did fix it under warranty, but then when they put the valve covers back on, the idiots put them backwards, and it was like making noise. I'm like, what the heck? Why is it making noise like tapping? Idiots put the valve covers, so I ended up having to take it back and said, hey, you guys put the valve covers wrong, you know, upside down. And then so luckily it didn't make a hole in it, you know. So they flipped them around, they put new gasket on them, you know, and they fixed that problem and it didn't have any more issues. And then so then my car was parked pretty much, and then my brother's all like, oh hey, can you? I need another vehicle, and you have your '66 and it's just parked there, you know, this and that. I'm like, I'm like, okay. I'm like, you know what? Give me, give me $600 for it, you know, and then I'll give it to you. But if you ever decide that you don't want it no more, give it back to me. Well, he didn't tell me that well, first thing he repainted it. He repainted it. Uh, he put like a candy apple red, and then he was gonna redo the interior also. And then the dash, it was metal. They painted the dash in the inside because back then it was metal, aluminum dashes, not none of this plastic crap that cracks with the sun. It was painted nice. So, and then he put rims and tires on it. He didn't have the original ones anymore. He put the true those spoke rims. You know, and then he put in a stereo system and all this, and he used to go cruising in it with his friends and stuff. But then he got married, and then all kinds of different things, and he still had the car. Then one day I went to go visit him. He was living in a house. It was renting, and then the car was up in jack stands with the wheels off and all this. And I'm like, what the heck? What are you doing? What is he doing to it? Then later on, he didn't tell me, and then he sold it. I don't know how much he sold it for. He never told me how much he paid for it. How much money. And I haven't asked him, but I think he probably sold it for a good amount of money, because when my wife put a bunch of credit cards, and we ended up owing like about $30,000 of credit cards, and then I was paying them off. He gave me I think it was like $5,000. I think he felt guilty. He gave me $5,000, and then I go, well, I'll pay. I told him I'll pay you back. He goes, oh, no, you don't have to pay me back. It's a gift. Well, because he was making good money. He was built houses and stuff. He's a contractor, has his own company. But I think he was feeling guilty that he sold the car. I don't know how much he sold it back in the 80s. I think it might have been already the 90s by then when he sold it. And because then I moved away, and he didn't tell me. When I visited him that one time, I saw the car was up, and then but I'm gonna fix it. He said, oh, okay. I'm going, and no, he ended up selling it because he said he needed money and blah blah blah. So I don't know, but then so then after that, then I only ended up having the Mazda truck, and then I got married, and then my wife had a Ford Tempo. And then we got rid of that one because it almost caught fire one time because it had oil leaks. And I said, yeah, you know what? I went to the Ford dealership. We saw a little, which we should have never purchased. A used car. But that was the last time that I bought a used car. It was a little Ford Festiva, and I looked at it. Shows how much that Ford Festiva is made in the U.S. by Ford, but only 1% is made in the U.S. And guess what the percentage is? What the part that's made in the U.S.? The keys. The keys was the only thing that was in the U.S. It was a nice little car, and we drove it. We drove it for a while, and it was kind of small. And then my wife's all like, you know what? We need a bigger car, because our family's gonna grow, and Carly can't fit anything in this little car, blah blah blah. So we ended up turning it in, and the car was worth less than what I owed. Who knew? Piece of crap. So then I went to Ford and I said, hey, you He said, you know what, we'll pay it off for you. And then what they did, basically, they paid it off and they added it onto the car that I was purchasing to the bill. That's how they get you. So in reality, they only gave me a little bit of money for it, but basically they got me out of the bad loan, you know. And then so I got the Ford, Ford Focus. So I had the Ford Focus and I had the Mazda. Then, then after I had the Ford Focus, then I told her, well, we need to get another. She's all like, oh, that's when she told me, you need to sell the truck because, I can't drive it and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, whatever, you know. Oh, but then the Mazda, it messed up. The It overheated on me one day when I was going somewhere. It just overheated. All of a sudden, the fan clutch stopped working and overheated, messed up the engine, the head. So I had to put a new head in it. And ever since then, the car didn't run as good as it used to. But so I said, all right, I sold it. But I took out my amps, left the stereo in there, and I still have the slider, the one for the cassette player. Still have the Kenwood cassette player, and I still have the thing that you can put it in to any car if you want. And I'm like, okay, well, I still have that. But then she goes, well, we need another car. So we went to look for cars, and then we got a Corolla, and pretty much we've been getting Corollas right after another. We got a '99. No, it wasn't 2009 Corolla. Then from there it was or was it 99? No, it was a 99. Yeah, it was a 99 because it's the same year as the Mustang. So we got rid of the Focus, got the Mustang, then we got the Corolla. So then we had two good cars. Then we got rid of that one. We got the 2009. Then the last one was 2017. And now the 4Runner. So, but yeah, I mean, finally got the 4Runner, which was the probably gonna be the last car. I mean, they last forever. They say they usually last about 300,000 miles or more, and I'm hardly driving it now. I mean, I barely did the one oil change on it. I think almost getting to 7,000 miles on it only. So, should last a long time. Probably boring everybody. But yeah, I mean, and been married for over 30 years. Been known her for over 40 something years. So it's like you just have to make it work. As they say, marriage is not like the Brady Bunch. But some people think, oh yeah, no, you got to work at it. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage. You have to work at it. Both of you have to, or else it ain't gonna last. But yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm 62. I mean, I've known her since I was 17, But it's been a great life so far. Still got, we'll see how many more years, partially retired. Not only work 3 days. Hey, Mark, what's up, Mark the Sputter Guy? Yeah, I mean, I only work Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays now. So that's why I'm live on every Saturday and Sunday, going to work. Then Wednesdays I usually do the running around doing errands live. But then I decided to do a live today. I said, well, why not do one of these vertical live streams and see how it goes. Jeffrey, what is up? Welcome. Yeah, so but I never tried to live over my means. Like you see some people, they go and buy expensive cars for no reason at all. Don't look too good. I'm getting ready for Christmas. I don't know. I heard that having a beard makes you more. From some YouTuber says, yeah, if you have a beard, you'll get it done on YouTube. And you gotta have a house, and you gotta have a fancy car. He said, that's what I hear. Oh no, I am all good, man. Just having on here, I don't know if you can always go back and watch it from the beginning. Yeah, that's all. Now the only bill I have is basically the the space and the utilities, you know, and the car. Well, of course, the car payment. That's the only reason I got it. Or else I would have never gotten a car like that. You know, I don't owe anything. All my car, everything's paid off. So I'm paying about $800 for it. But they wanted more. Usually those it's got everything on it. It's got the heated seats, the heated steering wheel, the heated wiper blades. I couldn't believe it. Heated wiper blades. I didn't even know they had it. My son goes, hey, it's got heated wiper blades. I'm like, what? I'm like, man, I guess it can help in the wintertime when it gets ice on the window. But, I was like, why not? I can pay it. Don't have any bills to pay, you know. And I still have the Mustang. I got to sell the Mustang. I'm going to have to sell it. It's a 1999 Ford Mustang. It's only got the V6. I'm the original owner. It's got about 130,000 miles on it. It probably needs the interior done because the sun and the paint, of course. But I did put new struts in the front, new shocks in the rear. Transmission, just recently got it rebuilt. The only thing is original with the engine. The engine's still original. So, yeah, I don't really like the heated seats, in the summertime, yeah. But in the wintertime, hey, you know what? I never did. My old Corolla, the 2017, had also heated seats, and I used to use them, in the wintertime because I don't like using the heater in the wintertime. In the wintertime, I don't like using the heater here, even if it gets like 30 degrees outside. I don't like using the heater because then you go outside and it's like, oh, you're all nice and warm in the car and you gotta go to the cold. No, I just wear my jacket to work and you know. No problem, Mark. Hey, it doesn't matter. I don't. If I only have one person in here, that's fine with me. It's like I do it for the fun of it. and for my when maybe when I'm not here, my grandkid can watch me, you know, hear all the crazy things that we went through. Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, it has the seated for the passenger too. Keep that pizza warm, especially if you're going to be one of those drivers. Yeah, but I mean, even the steering wheel's heated. I'm like, oh, I've used it a couple of times because the steering wheel got really cold. I was like, oh man, my hands were like nice and toasty. But it's only on like the top and on the bottom, so it's like at what is it, eight, eight and 8 and 4 and 10, 10 and 2. Those are the only places where the heated part is. So yeah, I mean I love the truck. I mean it's all 4-wheel drive. It's the top of the line. And then when I got there, they had barely taken it off the trailer. Nobody had touched it. Nobody had drived it. I was the first driver to it, other than the guy that took it off the truck and checked it out and washed it and checked it all to make sure everything's right and fine on it. And this thing, tells you can push a button and it tells you how much air pressure you have in your tires. You know, it's it's got so many things on there. On the mirrors they flash when there's a car next to you. It's got all the safety ish stuff on it. You know, and it's I got it. I got it because also my son. He likes to go hunting. He'll take it. He took it with him hunting once already, and but basically it's going to be his car. It's in both of our names. That way his credit gets he gets good credit also. And if anything happens to me, it's already in his name too. So milking cows at Ford. I know. I bet you, but you got to warm up them. The cow would probably go cold hands. Uh, hey Sherry, what's up, Sherry? Welcome, welcome. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't. Don't forget to share me out. Because we're getting it done. Huh, Sherry? We're getting it done. Remember, you have to have a facial hair to get it done. Oh, my wife's doing fine. She's still, same old, but she's in great health. I'm in great health. So far, so good. You know. Oh, I think it's the same, the three little dots on the top right hand corner. Because I'm doing the vertical, so it'll probably be if it's not on the bottom, it'll be on the top. Oh, you've been blocked over there? Yeah, he blocks everybody. If you say anything productive, trying to give him good advice, he doesn't want to hear it. You know, but it's only gonna get worse. You know, the less and less money he makes, he thinks he's gonna be a millionaire on YouTube. Uh, yeah, gotta have a car. You gotta have a fancy car, a beard, and a house. That's what I heard. I heard that's what he said. Oh, and then he also he said you gotta smoke cigars like what was it, that guy, Angry Man? Oh my God. Yeah. And then the the funny part was because I said, you know what? Let me see what he's saying. I haven't been in there for months, and he's all like, yeah, you know, you need to do that, you know. And I was in Angry Man's, and I was his top tier guy of his membership. I said hello to him, and he ignored me. He's got 600 people in his chat. You think you're the important person? Because he thought he was going to get some of his people to come over to his. It's like, oh my God. Ryan Clark gave him $50. Yeah, I don't know. He's he doesn't he doesn't listen. You know, his wife is gonna she's gonna find it one day. He's gonna well, I was gonna say one day he's gonna come home, but he's always home. But one day he's gonna come home and his clothes is gonna be on the sidewalk. Oh my God! It's like he has his poor wife pay for everything. It's like how I hope she's making good money, but I don't think she's just probably in a hole. You know. Oh, come on, Mark. You get more than 25 people in your chat. I've seen some of your chats. You got a big community there. You and Scott and Leah and Matt. You know, there is days that you only get a couple, but hey, you get a steady amount of people all the time. Yeah. Yeah, that tarantula out in the wild, Mark, it's still underground since November. Last time it was out last year. It came out in November, and it was the year before. It went in November, and it didn't come out until June. Then that's when September is when I noticed the babies. That's when I did that video with all the baby tarantulas. Well, Easter, it's just I don't have any kids, any little kids, so Easter's just another day to me. You know, I mean, when our kids were younger, we used to go buy the baskets, those expensive baskets. Then after a while, then my wife said, you know what? It's too expensive. It's cheaper. You can actually, you get those baskets, and all there is cardboard and three little toys and three little candy bars. You can go to the dollar store. Well, now it's a dollar and a quarter because everything went up. But you can get a basket for $1.25. Get that little grass. Get some toys. You can get some candy there and put it all in the basket. You know, it'll be cheaper. The $20 you spend in the dollar store which with candies and toys is cheaper than buying the $25 paper, just a cardboard in there, making it look like it's full, but it's not even worth it. I think it probably cost them like $2 to make those toys and the candies. Yeah, I mean, we buy chocolates and stuff like that, but you want to go after Easter, it's all off 50%. You know? Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, chocolate is chocolate. Just because it's in the shape of a bunny, it's not going to make it taste any better. Yeah. I mean, I remember this back in the 70s, man. That was when they really did good chocolate bunnies. They were solid chocolate bunnies. Now it's all like hollow on the inside. I mean, it's like, it's not even worth it. So, you know, yeah. But how's everybody else's Easter go? Nice? Oh, prices? Yeah. Well, yeah, you're in the UK, huh? Well, over here too, everything is up. Everything, the gas went up again. It's up to 4.47 a gallon now. Probably going to be up another 10 cents every week. It's been going up 10 cents and 10 cents. You know. Yeah, I'm look. I got this tripod that I bought at Walmart. It was only like five something, under $6. It bends all kinds of ways, so you know I can, I can even make it taller. It all bends. See, hey, that's looks better that way, huh? There we go. Doo-doo. Yeah, this vertical, I don't know. I mean, I know I've noticed a lot of people going vertical, but then you get a lot of the little kids coming in, you know, saying a bunch of dumb stuff. But yeah, you know, been on here for what, 2 hours and 40, probably go maybe another 15 minutes, do the 3 hours, 3 hour tour, you know, like Gilligan's Island. Hopefully we don't get stranded on here forever. Got a box of 24. Oh, yeah, those are nice. I wonder who ate them, Mark. The spiders did. The spiders ate them. Yeah. I mean, you can always go back and watch, you know, all the funny stuff that happened in my life. No idea, Moon. Blame it on the cat or the dog. Don't have a cat or dog, so can't blame it. Or the ghost, like at work. You know, something happens at work. Well, nobody did it. Well, it must be the ghost employee. Nobody wants to take the credit. You know, something got broken, something fell apart. Yeah. Being really naughty, yeah, those cats, man, they're vicious. I remember seeing a video of this one guy, he's all like, oh yeah, it's nice. You know, I got this cat, he's real nice and this and that. And all of a sudden it went wild and it like grabbed him on his leg and it was biting his leg and, you know, the claws, man. Yeah, they're vicious, man. Ghost. Oh, that reminds me. I remember my cousin, one time he calls me. Well, I used to go visit him. And then his grandma, he used to live with his grandma, and then his grandma had had birds, you know, those little lovebirds, you know, like little parrots. And she had a in the backyard at her house. She had a big enclosure. It was about, I'd say, at least, I'd say it was pretty tall because I mean I would walk in there and you could stand and it was, I'd say, about 7 feet tall. and it was maybe 5 feet wide and 10 feet long. It had two doors. One when you went in, then after that, then you'd go into where the birds were. Well, she used to go in there. His grandma used to go in there and feed the birds. She had like about 10 or 12 parakeets in there. Well, she also has cats. Well, guess what? She goes in there to go feed the birds. And while she's going in, she doesn't notice that one of the cats sneaks in behind her, sneaky, gets in the first door. Then she goes into the next door and she feeds the birds, gives them their water and stuff, but doesn't notice the cat got in. Cat's being sneaky, hiding. Yep. So she leaves, and then she's in the kitchen, and her kitchen window and the sink, she could look outside and look. You can see outside the backyard, and you can see the cage in the distance. All of a sudden, you start hearing the birds like screaming like really crazy. Hey, Corner Clubhouse, what's up? Yeah, they're screaming like crazy. The birds, like, making all kinds of noise. The parakeets. So my cousin's grandma tells him, go see what's going on with the birds. They're making all kinds of noise. So he goes over there and he goes, oh my God. He goes, the cat, it just destroyed. He started jumping and grabbing birds, and they were flying all over the place. He killed like about 6 of them by the time he got there, and bit off their heads. It was a massacre. so he's all like, his grandma comes out and goes, ay, 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 pinche gato, and starts screaming at the cat, but she doesn't, she's not going to hurt the cat. She was all like screaming and, pinche gato cabrón, te voy a matar. In Spanish, she's going to kill the cat, telling him, but of course she's not going to do it. And then she gets the cat out of the doggone cage, and then tells my cousin, here's some money. Go buy me some more birds. So he went to the store and buy some more of those birds, lovebirds for her. And then she used to have, male and female, so they used to make babies. They used to have little eggs in there. She used to have all set up so they can have babies. They would give birth to babies and everything. So, and then she used to sell them also. But yeah, that day, the cat had dinner, lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So the reason I was remembering, because then, she has cats, and then the cats are having cats, so she's got more cats. She had a bunch of little kittens. There was like around 4 of them. They were inside the house. But these kittens, they were like wild. I mean, they would jump from the floor. I'm 5'8". They would jump from the floor all the way up to bite you. And then my cousin, he goes, hey, I need your help. Come on over. I need a ride so I can take these to the like the pound, give them away. And so my cousin starts. We had to move the furniture because they got behind the furniture. So I had to start moving furniture out of the way. And the funny thing is, how people paint the walls of the kitchen, because this was in the kitchen, and she had 3 different paints, like where there was another furniture before, and then you could tell where the other furniture was, and then the last one that we moved, she painted around it. She didn't move it to paint behind it. And then he's all like, okay, let's get him. So I would get on one side and scare him the other way, and then he'd grab it. He grabbed one, and that thing was like, he had it in his hand, and it was like, and it started biting him, and he had I guess they gave her a box to put him, like in a cardboard box, and then we threw him in the cardboard box, and then one of the cats, he was like, he kept attacking him, so he like put his foot on it, and then she, ay, yo lo estás matando, lo estás matando. She's all like, You're killing him. She's all telling him in Spanish. And then my cousin, no, 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 look, look. He picks it up and goes, look, look, it's still alive. It's still alive. And puts it in the box. It was still alive. It just, I mean, it was vicious, man. Hey, what's up, Rex? How's it going, man? Yeah, so she's all like, lo estás matando. No, 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 abuela. No, grandma. He's okay. He's okay. Uh, so we got all three of the cats, and then we took them to the pound. You know, it's like I don't know. They're gonna have to tame him, man. Get like a lion tamer. Back, back. And then my dad. I remember my dad. He went over there because she my cousin tells me the story. He's because my dad went over and he's fixing he went over because she wanted him to look at they had a leak in the roof, and old roof, so he goes up there onto the roof, and while he's up in the roof, my cousin, he's in the kitchen, and he's eating cereal. He's over there eating cereal, and then all of a sudden he hears a noise, and poof, stuff comes flying from the roof onto the floor, and he looks up, and it's my dad's leg. The wood was rotten, and he went right through. He goes, "Oh, okay, I found one of the bad spots." His leg was all like, so he pulled himself out. But my cousin was like, "Oh man," he was laughing. But yeah, she used to have a bunch of dogs. She had dogs, she had cats, she had birds. I mean, she had all kinds of things. Yeah, and then my grandma, she used to always, all of a sudden, she'd come bring home a dog or a cat. We had these pets at the house. All of a sudden, we had a cat. Hey, and then it would be there for a couple of days. Then it wouldn't be there no more. She'd give it away. You know, she was like always taking it in strays. And one time we even had a weenie dog. We had a weenie dog, and that thing was cute. It was a little weenie dog, and it was kind of, I don't know if you ever remember those back in the '70s. They had those slinkies. The slinky. Well, they made one out of a dog. It had the tail on one end and they had the head on the other end. It looked like that one pretty much. Yeah, like in Toy Story. But yeah, it was funny. It was funny. And then what was it one time? Oh yeah, she some of the cats, we used to play with them. We used to see how, we could have made funny videos back then if it was back in the '70s. I mean, we had cats, and we used to get like tape, like scotch tape, and put it on the bottom of their paws, and then since he couldn't touch the ground, it was funny because he would be walking all funny, and he'd be going like dancing, and then he'd be and pulling off the tape off of his foot. But it was funny the way he would walk. And then we would get like a light, and then make it go around in circles, or get a clothes hanger and make it spin around, get them all drunk. It'd be all. All right, Mark, take it easy. Have a good one. Yeah, it was the things that we did back then. Like trick or treating, man. When we used to go trick or treating back then, it was the regular size candy bars. Now it's these little bite size. I'm like, gee, yeah. I mean, and then now with everything that happened, you don't see any kids going trick or treating. Now everybody just does it at home, or they do it in a parking lot. The trunk, trick or treating. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, in some neighborhoods they still do trick or treating, but a lot of neighborhoods getting too violent, and crazy out there, you know. I remember, what was it, when my cousin, we were living up in San Jose, and it was in the 80s, and we're out there giving candies to the kids, that were trick-or-treating, and then all of a sudden these guys show up, and and they're like, start accusing us of stealing their kids' candies. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, you guys stole our kids' candies. They said you guys did it. I'm like, what? I think you're wrong. Well, the kid's coming, the one that knows what they look like, and then I go, we're gonna call the police. I'm like, go ahead, I'll call them. If you're trying to be, they wanted to fight us and this. I'm like, we're actually out here handing out candies. We're not taking candies away from kids. And then I think the candies that we were giving out were the chocolate kisses, and the other ones, I think they were called joysticks. So and then all of a sudden the kid gets there, and they go, are these the guys that stole your candy? And I'm like, no, they were African American. I'm like, oh yeah, we're wearing the beanie and the T-shirt, profiling. I go, we're a little tanned, but not that tanned. It's like, come on. Yeah, people, oh, we're sorry. No, get out of here. We told them, you just, you already caused a big ruckus, accusing people. Yeah, it's not a big event. Yeah, like Mexico, they started celebrating it now. I mean, it was only celebrated a little bit back then in the 70s. I remember all the kids come over to the border to trick or treat over here, but now they do it over there too. They all dress up and stuff. Now people just do, parties, adults dress up, drink and eat and have fun for Halloween. Now it's become more of an adult, bars are probably make more money off of that too. Trick or treat, give me a drink to eat. Yep. Yeah, so I did give out the five more free memberships today. I got 5 more to give out. I'll probably give them out probably sometime this month again, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I do go live every Saturday and Sunday at 6:15 a.m. and also on Wednesdays I also go live around a little bit after 11 in the morning. Depends, or sooner. We'll see. But thank everybody that came in. God bless everybody that's here. Don't forget to hug your loved ones. Don't forget to call your mama, tell her you love her, because you never know, guys. So everybody have a good one. Happy April Fool's Day. So go fool some people. I was going to fool people today and not come on at all, and then at the end go, boom, April Fools. But no, there was no fooling today. Just a bunch of funny stories. So have a good one, guys. God bless you. Until next time, we'll see you on Wednesday and Saturday and Sundays. So I'll be seeing you guys in your live streams whenever whoever has a live stream today. We'll see who's going to be going live, guys. So see you guys. Have a good one. God bless. Bye-bye.